Over 1.5 million Canadians travel every month, but what most of them don't realize is that a valid passport doesn't always mean a usable passport. In fact, thousands of travelers are stopped every year, not because their passport expired, but because of hidden rules, system flags, and missed deadlines. Here's the shocking part. You won't always get a warning. No email, no letter, just a cold stop at the airport when it's already too late. Now, imagine this. You've booked a flight, packed your bags, told everyone you're leaving, and at the airport, your passport is suddenly rejected. Not expired, not fake, just invalid. Sounds impossible? It happens more often than people admit, and February 28th is one of those deadlines that quietly decides who travels and who doesn't. In this video, I'll reveal 10 critical reasons your Canadian passport could be canceled or rejected if you don't act in time. Some of these reasons are rarely talked about, but they can completely shut down your travel plans. Stay until the end. One overlooked detail could cost you everything. Number 1. Your passport can be valid but useless. Most people don't realize that many countries and even airlines do not care about your passport's printed expiry date. What they care about is how much validity is left when you travel. In many cases, if your passport has less than 6 months remaining, it can be treated as invalid, even though it looks perfectly fine in your hands. The result? Denied boarding, refused entry, or being sent back home before you even leave the airport. Here's where it gets worse. This rule isn't always enforced at immigration. It's often enforced before you even reach security. Airlines use automated systems that scan your passport details against destination rules. If the system flags your passport as too close to expiry, the decision is instant. No debate. No explanation, just the quiet, sorry, you can't fly. And February 28th matters because many people plan spring and summer travel months ahead without realizing their passport will fall under this danger zone. By the time they check again, renewal backlogs and processing delays make it impossible to fix quickly. Practical advice: don't check your passport for today. Check it against your travel return date. If you'll have less than 6 months left, treat it as already expired. Acting early isn't paranoia, it's protection. If this video saved you from even one travel disaster, let us know in the comments. Tell us where you're planning to travel next. We put serious effort into protecting you from mistakes no one warns you about. So subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, and it helps us keep these critical videos coming. Number 2. Your personal information doesn't match anymore. This is one of the quietest yet most common reasons passports get rejected, and almost no one talks about it. Your passport might be valid, undamaged, and far from expired, but if your personal information has changed and your passport wasn't updated, you could be flagged instantly. Think about it. Have you changed your last name after marriage or divorce? Updated your gender marker? Modified your legal identity documents? Even small inconsistencies between your passport and other records, like airline bookings, visas, or government databases, can trigger automatic system alerts. And once a system flags you, it doesn't ask questions. It simply says no. Here's what makes this dangerous. Humans don't catch this. Machines do. Modern border systems compare your passport details against multiple databases in seconds. If your ticket says one name, your ID says another, and your passport says something else, the system treats that as a risk, not a typo. You won't get a chance to explain your life story at the check-in counter. February 28th matters because many people updated their personal details months or even years ago and assumed their passport would still work. But as systems update and synchronize, old information becomes a liability. What worked last year might fail suddenly this year. Practical advice: check your passport name letter by letter against your airline ticket and legal documents. If anything doesn't match exactly, don't guess. Fix it now. A simple update today can prevent a public, expensive, and heartbreaking airport denial tomorrow. If this surprised you, drop a comment with "checking now." We actually read them all. We put serious time into uncovering issues most people miss, so subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, and it helps us keep protecting your travels. Number 3. Your passport is physically damaged. This reason catches people completely off guard because most damage doesn't look serious. Your passport might still open, the photo might still look like you, and nothing appears torn. But border systems don't judge passports the way humans do. They judge them like machines. Small issues matter more than you think. Water damage that causes pages to ripple, a slightly bent cover from being kept in a back pocket, a peeling laminate on the photo page. Even a tiny crack near the spine can interfere with the embedded electronic chip inside modern passports. When that chip fails to scan properly, the system doesn't say "try again," it says "invalid document." Here's the scary part. Many travelers only discover this problem at the airport. Airline staff are trained to spot damage that could cause entry refusal. If they believe your passport won't be accepted at your destination, they are legally allowed to deny boarding on the spot. No refund, no appeal, no sympathy. February 28th is critical because winter travel, humidity, spills, and wear and tear add up. Passports that survived years suddenly fail stricter scanning systems. What passed inspection last year might not pass today. Practical advice. Do a real inspection. Hold your passport under light. Check for warping, cracks, loose pages, faded text, or bubbles on the photo page. If it's been soaked, sat on, or bent repeatedly, don't risk it. Replacing a damaged passport early is far cheaper than replacing an entire trip. If you're grabbing your passport right now to inspect it, comment "looking closely" below. We put real effort into saving you from silent travel killers like this, so subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, and it helps us keep making videos that protect your plans. Number 4. Hidden legal or administrative holds you were never told about. This reason feels unreal, yet it stops people from traveling every single day. You can have a valid, undamaged passport with plenty of time left and still be blocked because of a legal or administrative hold you didn't even know existed. No warning letter, no phone call, just a system that quietly says "travel denied." These holds don't always come from criminal issues. In many cases, they're linked to unresolved government matters, things like unpaid fines, outstanding court orders, or certain family law obligations. The shocking part? Many people assume these issues were settled years ago, only to discover they were never fully cleared in the system. And once that system syncs across databases, your passport can be restricted instantly. What makes this dangerous is how invisible it is. You won't see anything printed on your passport. It won't look canceled, but behind the scenes, your travel status can change overnight. Airline systems check eligibility before boarding, and if a restriction appears, the airline won't risk flying you. They won't argue your case. They'll simply refuse boarding. February 28 matters because administrative systems often update in cycles. When records refresh or enforcement tightens, old issues resurface. People who traveled freely before suddenly hit a wall, and by then, it's too late to fix quickly. Practical advice? If you've ever had legal, financial, or court-related matters, no matter how small, confirm they're fully resolved in writing. Don't rely on memory or assumptions. Peace of mind now can save you from a humiliating, expensive airport surprise later. If this made you pause and think, comment double-checking so others know they're not alone. We put serious effort into uncovering risks most channels ignore, so subscribe with one click and help us keep protecting your travel freedom. Number 5. Your child's passport is no longer valid. This reason causes family travel disasters more than almost anything else, and it usually hits parents who did everything right. Flights booked, hotels paid, school time approved. Then, at the airport, the shock. Your child can't travel. Here's why. Children's passports expire much faster than adult passports. Many parents assume a child's passport lasts just as long, or they remember renewing it not that long ago. But in reality, child passports often expire in 5 years or less, and some countries apply even stricter validity rules for minors. That means a passport that looks current may already fall into the danger zone. What makes this worse is that airline staff are extra cautious with minors. If there's any doubt about validity, identity, or expiry requirements, they won't take chances. They won't allow the child to board, even if the parents' documents are perfect. One invalid passport can ground the entire family. February 28th is critical because many families plan spring break or summer travel months ahead. By the time parents recheck documents, renewal timelines and backlogs make it impossible to fix in time, and emergency processing for child passports is often slower, not faster. Practical advice: check every child's passport separately. Don't assume anything. Look at the expiry date, then count forward to your return date, not departure. If there's less than 6 months left, treat it as expired. Early renewal is inconvenient, but explaining a canceled family trip to your kids is far worse. If you're traveling with kids this year, comment checking the kids' passports so other parents see this warning. We put real effort into saving families from avoidable travel chaos, so subscribe with one click and help us keep these crucial alerts coming. Number 6. Errors from your last passport application can come back years later. This one is especially unsettling because it feels completely unfair. You applied years ago, you were approved, you traveled without issues, so everything must be fine, right? Not always. Small application errors from a past renewal can quietly sit in the system and resurface when you least expect it. These errors can be surprisingly minor. A signature that didn't match official records, an outdated or incorrectly completed guarantor section, a missed declaration box. Even a processing exception that was temporarily allowed at the time can later be flagged when systems are reviewed or updated. What once passed manually may not pass automated verification today. Here's the problem: modern passport systems don't forget. When databases are synchronized or audited, inconsistencies are rechecked. If something doesn't align, your passport may be marked for secondary review or restriction without you being notified. You won't know until an airline or border system refuses your document. February 28th matters because administrative reviews and policy enforcement often happen in batches. When deadlines approach, older records are revalidated. That's when long-buried issues resurface, catching travelers completely off guard. Practical advice: if your passport was issued during a rushed renewal, emergency process, or after multiple corrections, don't assume it's flawless. Review your passport details carefully. If something feels off, or if your application was complicated, consider verifying your status before you travel, not at the airport. If you've ever rushed the passport application, comment "Hope it's clean" below. You're not alone. We put serious work into exposing risks most people never hear about, so subscribe with one click and help us keep these life-saving travel warnings coming. Number 7. A lost or stolen passport that was never properly reported. This reason is a silent travel killer, and it traps people who think they dodged a problem. You lost your passport years ago. Maybe it fell out of a bag. Maybe it was stolen. Maybe you even found it later and kept using it. Here's the truth most people don't know. Once a passport is reported lost or stolen or flagged internally, it can be permanently blacklisted, even if it looks perfectly valid. What's worse is when a passport was never officially reported at all. If authorities later detect duplicate passport numbers, suspicious activity, or mismatched records, that document can be canceled without warning. To the naked eye, it looks real. To border systems, it's already dead. Modern travel relies heavily on international databases. Airlines scan your passport before boarding. If the system recognizes your passport number as lost, stolen, or compromised, it doesn't matter who you talk to. The airline will not risk transporting you, because if the destination country rejects you, the airline pays the price, so they stop you first. February 28th matters because database updates and security audits happen in cycles. When records sank, old reports and unresolved flags resurface instantly. People who traveled fine for years suddenly find themselves blocked, confused, embarrassed, and stranded. Practical advice. If you ever lost a passport, even briefly, confirm its status officially. Never assume that finding it later makes it safe. If a passport has been compromised once, replace it. Using a blacklisted passport is one of the fastest ways to end a trip before it begins. If you've ever lost a passport, even for a day, comment "better safe" below. We put real effort into warning you about risks most people never see, so subscribe with one click and help us keep protecting travelers like you. Number 8. New airline and border rules can cancel your trip before you even fly. This is one of the most misunderstood risks in modern travel, and it's getting worse every year. Many people believe border officers decide everything at immigration. In reality, airlines now make the first and final decision on whether you're allowed to fly, and they follow rules that change quietly and frequently. Airlines use automated systems that check your passport against destination-specific entry rules before you board. These rules can include passport validity length, blank pages, transit country requirements, or even how recently your passport was issued. If the system detects a mismatch, the airline doesn't debate it. They deny boarding, because if you're rejected at the destination, the airline pays the penalty, not you. Here's what makes this terrifying. Two people flying to the same country can face different outcomes depending on airline, route, or transit stop. You might be cleared on one airline last year and blocked by another this year. No announcement, no headline, just a rule update buried deep in airline compliance systems. February 28th matters because airlines often update and enforce new travel rules before peak travel seasons. As spring and summer demand rises, enforcement tightens. Passports that worked before suddenly don't meet the latest criteria, and travelers only find out at the check-in desk. Practical advice. Always check airline-specific passport requirements, not just the destination country's website. Look at transit rules too. And never assume last year's experience applies today. In modern travel, rules change faster than people realize. If you've ever thought, "I flew there before, so I'm fine," comment "not assuming anymore." We put serious effort into uncovering hidden travel rules like this, so subscribe with one click and help us keep saving trips before they're canceled. Number 9. Your passport photo no longer matches you. This reason feels almost insulting until it happens to you. You look at your passport photo and think, "That's still me." But modern travel systems don't rely on human judgment. They rely on facial recognition software, and those systems are far less forgiving than people. Significant changes like weight loss or gain, facial surgery, aging, or even growing or removing facial hair can reduce scan accuracy. Add different lighting, camera angles, and airport conditions, and suddenly the system struggles to confirm your identity. When facial recognition confidence drops too low, your passport can be flagged for manual review or rejection. Here's the issue. If that flag appears before boarding, airline staff may deny you outright. They don't have time to debate whether you still look similar. Their job is to follow system guidance, and when the system hesitates, they err on the side of refusal. February 28 matters because many people renewed passports years ago and haven't compared their photo to how they look today. As biometric systems get stricter, older photos that once passed easily now struggle under updated algorithms. What worked before may fail without warning. Practical advice. Do a blunt test. Hold your passport next to a mirror. If a stranger or a computer might hesitate, don't risk it. Renewing early for a clearer, current photo is far easier than arguing with a machine at the airport. If you just looked at your passport photo and thought, "Yikes," comment "time for a new photo." We put real effort into revealing these hidden travel risks, so subscribe with one click and help us keep protecting your future trips. Number 10. Waiting until the last minute after February 28th can kill your renewal chances. This is the final and most dangerous mistake because it's the one people know about yet still ignore. Many travelers believe that as long as they apply soon, everything will work out. But February 28th isn't just another date on the calendar. It's a processing cutoff point where delays, backlogs, and system slowdowns begin to stack up fast. After this point, renewal demand spikes sharply. Everyone suddenly realizes their passport won't work for upcoming travel, and they all apply at the same time. That's when routine renewals turn into months-long waits, appointment slots disappear, and express options become unavailable or unreliable. By the time people panic, the system is already overwhelmed. Here's the harsh reality. Intent doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you plan to renew. It doesn't matter if you book travel responsibly. If your application isn't submitted early enough, you can still miss your trip. Processing offices don't bend rules for vacations, weddings, or emergencies caused by procrastination. February 28th matters because it's the line between control and chaos. Before it, you have options. After it, you're competing with thousands of last-minute applicants, hoping your documents arrive on time. Practical advice. If your passport is even close to risky territory, act before February 28th. Early action isn't overreacting, it's how experienced travelers avoid disasters others never see coming. If this video made you rethink waiting just a little longer, comment "doing it now." We put serious effort into protecting you from silent travel mistakes, so subscribe with one click and help us keep making videos that save trips before they're canceled. At this point, one thing should be crystal clear. Passport problems rarely come from one big mistake. They come from small details people overlook, assumptions they don't question, and deadlines they think don't really matter. A passport can look valid, feel valid, and still fail you at the exact moment you need it most. What makes the situation dangerous isn't just the rules, it's the silence. No alerts, no countdown timer, no warning message telling you something is wrong. Everything feels fine until it suddenly isn't. And when that moment comes, it doesn't happen at home. It happens at the airport, in front of strangers, with your plans already paid for and your options gone. February 28 is not about panic. It's about control. Before that date, you still have choices. Time to check, time to fix, time to renew. After that, you're reacting instead of preparing, hoping the system moves fast enough, hoping nothing goes wrong, hoping you are the exception. And hope is a terrible travel strategy. The smartest travelers aren't lucky. They're early. They check details others ignore. They act before problems become emergencies. And they don't wait for a disaster to remind them how important one document really is. So take this as your sign. Check your passport today. Not tomorrow, not when you get a chance, today. Because the cost of checking is nothing, and the cost of being wrong is everything. If this video helped you see risks you didn't know existed, you already did the hardest part. The next step is action.